Hi, Senator Sweeney. Melissa Tomlinson, I'm an educator in the state of New Jersey. And as we're talking about these pension and benefit changes, really concerned watching what's happened across the nation in different states with how we have great teacher shortages in other states that have made these changes. I'm wondering what kind of conversations we're having around what we're going to do to retain our teaching force, and what especially we're going to do to help our teachers of color. We already know that there's 80% white teachers in our schools. We need more teachers of color and the financial issues that they face. Reducing these pensions and these health benefits and not increasing salaries is not going to cut it for us.
Well, listen, as far as the diversity issue, everyone's entitled to clap. As far as the diversity issues, we have legislation to create some incentives to get minority teachers. We absolutely, our schools need to look like our communities. New Jersey's the most, we have more diversity than any other state in the country. So, making that work better is obviously a good thing. As far as the pension and healthcare, to be perfectly honest with you, there's no one in the country even close to us when it comes to healthcare, just so you know. Not one state comes close to offering what we offer. And I think we're more generous than Oklahoma and some other states where you really see the uprising. Listen, I value teachers, I truly do. And I think teachers are the reasons why our schools are so good. But we have to have a dialogue because mistakes were made. Unfortunately, mistakes were made. And they weren't for the good, they were for the bad. Listen, it was I didn't want to get into this, but I will. It was the NJEA and the CWA that actually supported Christy Whitman's pension bond. They did. Not their leadership now. But the point is, you can't forget what got us here. Because the reason why we're so broke, besides government not stepping up and paying the way they should, is we gave benefits that we didn't pay for. I'm a union official. I'm the chair of 2 pension funds, labor chair of 2 pension funds. My very first vote taking over one pension fund was cutting my own pension by 25%. You think I was crazy taking that vote? You think I was happy? But my point is, we have to have an honest dialogue where the state is. How come Pennsylvania just changed their system? We need to recognize the problems that exist and find a common area of working. I said, I'm willing to work with teachers in Chapter 78, but not unless we have a new system, because if we don't have a new system, just so you know, we're just raising taxes to keep the thing going until the next governor comes along. And administrations run every 4 years. I'll get through this 4, let someone else worry about it. No, it's time to fix it now.
So then can we post S2606 so we can open up that dialogue?
Absolutely not. Not until we have the other side of the dialogue. The dialogue has to be had on a new pension plan, and I would be more than willing to sit down and negotiate with our friends in labor. That's what I do for a living, is come up with a new pension system. Look, every time I gotta change my health care, I gotta change my health care system pretty soon, because I can't afford that anymore. You know what we saw? That I'm providing a plan that only 40% of my members are actually funding because they don't work enough. And I can't afford the plan, so I gotta make a new deal. That doesn't mean that I'm not pro-labor. I am pro-labor. I'm more pro-labor than anybody in this room. That's what I do for a living. My father was a union person, I'm a union person. But there's no one that can be privileged here. We're all in it together or not. And if you want to build post-it, then sit down and let's talk about a new healthcare plan, let's talk about a new pension plan, and that's where we go from. But without that dialogue, it's just the same thing that we've been doing. We just keep raising taxes. We raised the sales tax in 2006. I wouldn't vote for it, right? 2006, I don't know if you remember, if you were a teacher then. Do you remember they said it was going to fix the, well, you remember it was going to fix the pension problem, right? They made a claim. They made a claim in 2006. If we raise the sales tax 1 penny, and we only need half of it for the pension system, the other half we don't need, right? We're going to be fine. They came to me. All the unions came to me, and I said, I'm doing paid final leave. I'm doing minimum wage. They said, if you don't vote for this, we're gonna go after you. I said, I represent Salem County. I said, you know what's next to Salem County? Delaware. Look at Salem County. There's a lot of poverty there because they're at a disadvantage. Who's going to buy a refrigerator in Salem County when you go right over the bridge and buy one and not pay sales tax? Right? So we heard. Well, guess what? Long story short, we had the fight. You know, the sales tax, I didn't vote for the sales tax. It happened. So since 2007, they've been collecting $1.8 billion. Why is your pension broken? Why is it broken? You got what you asked for. You got the solution. The governor promised, if you give me a penny, 900 million of it, done. Well, you've had it for 12 years. And instead of half a penny, it's the whole penny. And we're still broke. So my point is, it needs structural reform in order to go forward. I'm not crazy. I wish we didn't have to do any of this. But I can tell you, in 2005, when I tried to fix it, the problem was that big. It was fixable in 2005. But when everyone says, you know, mind your own business, we're not going to touch it, well, problems don't get smaller, they get bigger when you ignore that. They get much bigger, and at the end of the day, that's what happened here. If we had taken action sooner, this would have been a much easier fix. But thank you for your question. Governor?